Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flix Show. My name is Chris Wong. This is episode 348 of the Ping Pong Flix Show. Aloha Friday, guys. It's been quite an amazing day. But let's start off with this little bit of news in regards to Todd Phillips Joker film. Empire had released two alternate magazine covers today of the Empire magazine, and it's of Joker. You see Joaquin Phoenix and just a little bit of the Joker face, either in the mirror image or kind of just coming out of his face like a spooky ghost. Now, it's nothing really special, these graphics here, but at least it looks like they're trying to amp up. They're finally starting to market this a little bit more as we get closer to that October release date, and we're finally get to see Joker, this weirdly what they're calling a DC subversive clown crime thriller. And this is just a cover. Not sure about the articles within it yet. That hasn't been revealed yet, at least, or even gone into the shelves yet. But it is uniquely interesting. I wouldn't get super excited. It is kind of like, I think the mirror image probably be the best, where he's kind of looking out from the corner. I think that's probably the best image I like about between these two Empire magazines. But it is a very interesting movie. We still aren't really sure, even though they've told us countless times doesn't belong anywhere near the DCEU, which is probably true at this point. But it is uniquely interesting to see if maybe this even connects to the Robert Pattinson Batman at all. But we'll see in the coming months as we get closer and closer, and ultimately probably not until we actually see the Joker movie, where we'll actually find out what are we watching here, and if this has any of that award-winning art to it. They're putting this in the award seasons. It's gonna possibly win awards. Joaquin Phoenix could win an award for this. Great and awesome. I think this actually ultimately shows the variety that DC universe and Warner Brothers needs to make, the variety that DC content can be done. There's many things in the DC world that have different aspects, whether it be comedy, whether it be family, whether it be drama, whether it be horror, whether crime thrillers. There's so many different aspects you can pull from DC world, from the comics, from Elseworlds, from even the multiverse and stuff like that, that it should be allowed. We should be able to see these different types of films and not having to just be on the side of giant blockbusters and stuff like that. And if you that's the route you want to look at, that's great. But I kind of want to see different aspects of it, and I think this is part of that, and that's why I'm kind of excited yet questioning it. And I'm really more of the superheroes, but I'm loving to see some Venom type material where it's all about the bad guys, even though Venom kind of turned into a good guy at the end, but more about the bad guys, and trying to see a different take on things. So kind of excited, but not truly into it, because like I said, more about the Justice League heroes rather than straight up villain thrillers. But I am looking into, I like those independent type artsy type of films too, so maybe this will be along the type of movies that I would get into, like Birds of Prey that's coming out possibly. But in any case, there is something that came out today in regards to the Superman movie. Now, it's been a while and a long time that we've heard hints and rumors that Christopher McQuarrie was trying to talk with Warner Brothers on a Superman film. And ultimately, that never happened, of course. But for some reason, he felt the need to come out today and talk about that, tweet about that he was going to do a Superman movie. Now, what I've heard just now is that he actually deleted this for whatever reason, even though he did say later on that there is no NDA, he could really reveal this, but maybe it got too much attention and he didn't want to get that attention. But he said that it's too complicated to explain. The Superman movie that Cavill and him were proposing was no takers. The studio have never cared for his original ideas. They prefer that he fix their broken ones. So it obviously sounds like he's pretty not hurt, but kind of taken aback or even maybe insulted or something. He's talking to him in a negative direction, which Warner Brothers at that time was trying to do, right? And someone asked him, what kind of, did you do any writing or some sort of story in place? He said Green Lantern was a written proposal. Superman was a pitch. So there was two different movies here. And he also insinuates that it could have kind of just melded into each other. It would have had those two worlds together, where you had a story about Superman and you would have had, they could have incorporated Green Lantern within it and things like that. So that's kind of amazing in that what they've said. And makes you wonder, so maybe, Tom Cruise really was going to be Hal Jordan at one point. This Christopher McQuarrie was talking about. And all those rumors about him talking about Green Lantern and Superman were absolutely true. It's just Warner Brothers never bit into it. Amateur watcher Dave, Ohio Dave, he said, would it have tied into Man of Steel at all? And Christopher McQuarrie says it certainly could have. It certainly could have. It certainly could have tied into Man of Steel. And my God, like what? And that actually makes sense. Now that we heard about this, Louis Centeno actually tweeted to him, replied to him, and says, please help us understand, Chris, am I understanding that you were all in on a Man of Steel 2 with Henry Cavill and Warner Brothers said no? May I ask how long ago was that? And if Warner Brothers came back to you, would you reconsider? And Christopher McQuarrie replied, they never said no. They just never moved on it. This was just before Fallout was released, and no, I would not reconsider. There's too many other things I want to do, and that's just sad and utterly. I gotta be honest, pretty pathetic of Warner Brothers to not move in on this. Christopher McQuarrie, who has done, some Mission Impossible movies, Rogue Nation and Fallout, and just some really good and big blockbuster films. Great material, great content. It's a great director. He had an idea, and he had Henry Cavill approved on that idea, and they were about to move in with a story, and Warner Brothers just literally just dropped the ball. I mean, they dropped the ball. It's like they don't want money, right? Is their ego so important that they would throw away money? It's gotten to that point in my understanding of what Warner Brothers is or was, because Christopher McQuarrie is saying that this was just before Fallout. That means the creative team, the people who were involved during this decision that they didn't listen to Christopher McQuarrie, would have been Kevin Tsujihara, Toby Emmerich, and I believe at that time it could have been Jeff Johns and John Berg during that same time where Justice League came out. So that tells me that they were really trying to get away with anything to do with Zack Snyder's Superman, right? Where he said here that it could have, kind of connected to a Man of Steel. Maybe that's the thing that threw them off. That's the thing that they were like kind of pushed away. They were like, no, we're not going to deal with that. We don't even want to mention anything of Zack Snyder's work at that time. Their ego is so, it is so toxic that they really threw this idea away. Christopher McQuarrie, man. I mean, come on. How ridiculous is that? How incredibly dumb that Warner Brothers studio could have been, and including this one person left, Toby Emmerich. His ego is literally bad for business. Warner Brothers got to wake up. They got to understand that Toby Emmerich's ego is bad for business. It's not making him any money. It's not making the company any money, and that has to go. That is really, it's just toxic in general. His presence there is just toxic right now. Unable to. Christopher McQuarrie. Now, this other thing that I was wondering is it because they're really mad? Are they angry? Were they angry at the time that he wouldn't let Henry Cavill under contract to shave his mustache, and they had to pay millions of dollars to remove the mustache? So they're a little butthurt. They're a little hurt by that, and so that's why they said, no, we're not going to listen to you, Christopher McQuarrie. We're not going to listen to any of that. You refuse to shave his mustache. When literally they're like, but they did it on themselves. They had Superman without a mustache, all pumped up, ready to go. He did shot a lot of actions. They tried to spend money to make money, and they just shot themselves in the foot. Warner Brothers shot themselves in the foot by doing all this additional shoots, additional unnecessary CGI by trying to take out a mustache, which, it's good for them because Henry Cavill had moved on. He never thought he'd come back. He had moved on to with his mustache to shoot the Mission Impossible, and they didn't think about pushing the movie further, right? They could have said, you know what, we're going to delay the movie until Fallout's done, and then Henry Cavill can come back, reshoot it without the mustache and stuff like that. No, they wanted their paychecks, they wanted their bonuses, because they knew they could be fired when AT&T finally came in. Kevin Tsujihara's out. Toby Emmerich, who also collected a bonus check because he wanted to release by November, may get fired. It might be time. Who knows? But that's why I really want Ann Sarnoff to come in, because I think he's such a toxic guy in there. He really needs to leave. And just to hear this now, that we could have really got a Superman movie, and it could have tied in Green Lantern by now, it sickens me. It really is pathetic. Warner Brothers is pathetic. And I can't believe they did this. And I wouldn't say Warner Brothers in general. I'd say Toby Emmerich's pathetic. So hopefully the new team, Ann Sarnoff, who are all about crunching numbers, all about business, will have some business sense and to throw away things like ego that would get in the way of actually making money, get in the way of actually releasing content, varied content that could make a lot of money and actually appease different parts of the fandom, different parts of the audience, so that you can capture the entire thing and not just try to hone in onto a single type of audience like Toby Emmerich's daughters. You know what I mean? So I think hopefully she sees that light of day, and hopefully with her coming into office this coming week, seeing what's happening, or if she hasn't already, and seeing this entire movement of release the Snyder Cut, and actually seeing some dollar signs in her eyes, right? And that's what the beauty of this moment today at RT Snyder Cut. I gotta give you a hand, clap my hands, applaud you guys for putting this together. Because without you, this unity of over 5,000 followers, including the admins that we still don't know who is, and we don't need to know it. They are the movement. They are the face of the movement. They are our leaders in a way. And because they are not toxic, they don't. They don't take any sides. Their one side is the Snyder Cut, and that is the only side that we should be actually promoting and talking about and being positive about. I'm getting sweaty talking about this. It's literally daytime. But that's why I'm wearing this shirt today. Zack Snyder shirt. This represents everything that he put out for. It's like fans connecting together. Even though this is about the Justice League, it's almost like a unity in itself, and that's what happened today. Art at RT Snyder Cut was able to gather us all together, unite all from different people, different countries, different thoughts and ideas, different sides of the movement, even to unite to constantly tweet out today the Release the Snyder Cut with a little message, a picture or a GIF, hashtag Release the Snyder Cut at Warner Bros. And it trended. It's just trended. It was so exciting, guys. Just waking up and realize I had passed my mark, because I was supposed to have done this at 5 a.m. and because LA is 8 a.m. and I'm supposed to do this at 5 a.m. I think that's how it was supposed to be done. But I woke up at 6. I started tweeting, and I was tweeting and retweeting. I don't know how much more. It was getting exciting. It was so exciting. People were tweeting and retweeting, and we were getting verified. Sonny Bunch got involved, and all these other people got involved. And it was amazing. And people who who are like, I don't even like Zack Snyder's work, but I believe in this movement. So hashtag release the Snyder Cut. It was incredible. It was trending. It was going from 10,000 to 20,000 to 30,000. Finally, by the time of this video at 4 p.m. here on Friday, we have trended to 45,000 or 44 and some change, 1,000 tweets trending in the United States of America. But it was also trending in every other country as well, like #1 trending. And it was incredible. It was an incredible day, guys. I really felt like we kind of like won in a way. We kind of brought this attention. Look, I mean, my phone is still going off on tweets and stuff. I'm going to have to silence this. But it just kept going. And it kept moving along. We kept moving the needle. And that's the exciting part about this movement. I love you guys. I'm so excited and so happy to be part of this, to be part of something huge. And this is what it is. This fight was worth fighting for. And it is still continued worth fighting for. And we're going to keep campaigning at RT Snyder Cut's already working on the next campaign in addition to the Project Comic Con team that's coming up. We're gaining so much traction. We're gaining so much noise that it became a Twitter moment, and Twitter moment on Twitter, and that rarely happens, especially for the Snyder Cut. You know, we've gained so much. I think the last time we've ever had enough tweets was like maybe 20,000+, but 44,000, meaning we've gotten more. More people are jumping on the bandwagon. More people are finding out what this is. More people are like, oh, it exists. Oh, it's different. Oh, it's 3.5 hours of stuff. Oh, there's dark side in it. Oh, I would love to see it. I am curious. I would want to see that. Artists, creators, and lots of people, and it really shows how big we are. In order to do this, it's probably one of the most asked for cuts in the history of Hollywood. This is a huge moment, even though they, on a Twitter moment says some fans, but some in comparison to millions, and that is still a lot. That's still a lot. Nearly 2 years, more than a year, because by November it will be 2 years, but nearly 2 years, I guess. We're still asking for it. Nearly 2 years. We're not going to let it go. We're not going to let this die. And it shows, everybody in the movement is bringing out something, is bringing something to the table as we get closer and closer to Warner Brothers finally waking up and seeing that this could make them money. My God, even Jay Oliva says this has a financial gain to it. He tweeted out, he says there's a financial gain to this. This cannot be, anybody would know there could get financial gain from this. You have to put in money to make money, and this one would surely make money. And that's why this is important, because we need more people to know what's going on. There's still people who are saying it doesn't exist, but I'm so happy and glad that people are jumping in, especially like titans like Jay Oliva, who are just come in and just start educating. We don't deserve that man. That little man, he started educating everybody. He just comes in and says, who would know, you or me? I worked with Zack Snyder. I know from Zack Snyder. You don't know anything. So he would know that it exists. He would know how much was completed. He would know at that time how much was completed. He would know if people who want this, and it's great to see these people who say it doesn't exist, either turn or kind of change their language in a way that they don't try to be offensive and try to understand it. And there's some who also hold on to their egos just as bad as Tom Yebrick. But sooner or later, they're going to change your tune. And sooner or later, they're all going to know once the Snyder Cut does come out. And I believe it will. I still believe it will definitely come out, even more so than ever. As we gain more traction, we gain more an audience. Analytics are showing. Twitter is seeing it. This is amazing. Washington Post. What do they write about, right? This is crazy. We're reaching some kind of crescendo. We're past the point that Warner Brothers can't even deny it anymore. They can't even, if they're scared of denying it. They're scared to even mention anything right now because that means they know, and we know they know. So, and it's really just Toby Emmerich, I believe. And so that's why I'm excited to see. I'm glad all this has happened before that. Oh, maybe this was planned. I don't know if RT Snyder Cut. Did you plan this? That they did all this so that when Ann Sarnoff walks into those offices at Warner Brothers, she's like, "What is this? What is on my phone here? What's this Snyder Cut?" You know, we want her to ask that question. Unless if she does or doesn't already know. I'm sure she kind of knows. But we want her to ask that question. And when J.J. Abrams finally comes in, he's like, "Hey, I got this guy named Chris Terrio. He's my buddy. He told me what y'all guys did, man. You guys got to do something about this." You know, that's me hoping. But it feels like the stars are aligning, and I'm really getting excited about that. And I think you guys should too. But at the same time, it doesn't mean we should just sit back and wait. That's why RT Snyder Cut is going to continuously campaigning this. And Project Comic-Con is going to continue on. And we're going to continue focusing on campaigns after campaigns. We're not going to let the noise die, because at any point they could try to discredit us. At any point they're going to try to silence us, and we're not going to let that happen. We're going to continue making that noise. So incredible day today. I'm just happy. I'm so happy and excited for what happened today. Good job on everybody who decided to tweet out today, who joined the event today. This was an incredible day. Pat yourselves on the back, applaud each other, hug your mom, your wife, kiss your kids. This is a great day. Release the Snyder Cut, Warner Brothers. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.